Hello, hello.
Hi, hi,
Hi,
hi.
fam. How are we?
It's
We
been a
doing good?
week.
It's
We're
been a
doing
week.
good.
It's been a
I
week.
just, right? And I can't even, just thinking now, it's like we're already on episode 3. We're already on
Yep.
episode 3.
Episode
What in the,
3.
what?
Claiming your success. Episode 3. Here we go. What are we talking about today, Kaz?
What we're talking about today, we are talking about your vision, team, your vision, and why it is so important to have your vision and your why, and to always like keep that close to you. But also, team, that's something that Caroline never used to do either. So don't worry if you're thinking like, hold on a minute, I just want to make a bit of money, and like the next month with business. And it's like, no, there could be so much more for us, when it comes to what we can create. And it's the vision that's gonna, I feel like I'm just like running before I can walk here, Sabrina, and I'm just gonna go right in with it. Let's
Let's
really,
go.
let's
Let's
really,
go.
really vision. Sabrina, what do you think of when you hear the word vision?
Oh my gosh. Well, Caroline, you know me very, very well, and some of our listeners may know me very, very well also. And you know that this word is like, it's like my mecca. Vision for me is everything. I'm a huge vision board creator. I'm a huge vision reader, vision manifester. Like I'm all about vision. And I think that if you're at least not connected in some way to some future version of yourself or some future version of your reality, then being an entrepreneur is going to kick your ass all up and down the field to the point where you're going to give up. You're going to quit. You're going to quit. Because if you're not connected to what all of this is for, then you're just going to be like, oh yeah, it's not worth it. It's not
Right?
worth it.
And then I'm just thinking of like when people start an entrepreneurial journey, and it's their why, We all start with like a really small why in the beginning. And then Serena, why did you start your journey?
It's funny actually because my why wasn't small. I'm always the one that plays devil's advocate, aren't I? I'm always the one that's like, actually, but but I totally relate to what you just said, because from the years of mentoring people on their entrepreneurial journeys, most people's why is very small in the beginning. So there's nothing wrong. Yeah, Caroline, I remember yours. There's
Guilty.
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, from the
That was just
get-go,
because, sorry to interrupt, that was just because I did not know.
mm,
Go,
mm,
Sabrina.
mm. That which is big, and we're going to get into that. But from the get-go, for me, I wanted to be financially independent from my husband. We have had a dynamic for a long time, ever since we moved to America, where I had to restart my career, where he's the primary breadwinner of our family. And just, I think it's just from the background that I come from,
Mm.
that didn't sit okay with me. That if, he turned to me one day and was just like, yeah, I think we're done. I'd be like, oh, what? I mean,
Well, I didn't know. What do I do now?
what do I do now? Like literally. And that was not okay with me.
Yeah.
So from the get-go, for me, I wanted to not have to rely on anybody else for my lifestyle, my security, my like how I want to live. And that's not to say that I want to be independent from my husband, full stop. Like we've got a
Hmm.
solid relationship. We've been together 27 years nearly, which is insane. We've been married for nearly 17 years. Like we've been together for a long, long time. And I hope that that continues. But I want to be with him, not need to be with him.
Yes.
Right. So for me, it was a big deal that I was able to carve out some financial independence for myself. So that was how my why began with my business. It has evolved exponentially from there. That's still part of it, the financial security part is still part of it, but it's become something much deeper and greater to me, which and it's important that your why is deep, I think, because on those days where we all have them, where you wake up in the morning, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm over this shit. Like,
Mm.
I don't want to send the messages. I don't want to do the things. I don't feel like doing X, Y, and Z thing today. And yeah, I'm striving to have a little bit more money in my bank, but I can go another day without that money in my bank. It's not a big deal. It's
Mm.
easy to talk yourself out of it and negotiate with yourself about your timeline if your why is not deep enough. So we're going to talk about how to like craft a really deep and compelling vision for yourself. But I'd love to know what, well, I do know because I remember our conversation, but tell our people, Caroline, what was your why when you first began?
And when once you started saying yours, it all started like flooding back to me, and it literally was first, it was so I had a little bit of a taste of network marketing pre to meeting Sabrina, right? But that was where I was taught wrong way. So I stepped away from it. But the why when I met connected with Sabrina was remember that thing called lockdown, COVID. Guess what happened? Yeah, okay, I have no control over my income anyway, right? Because I'm working for someone else. Furlough hit and it was like, holding a minute, I'm only getting 80% of my pay. Holding a minute, 50% of my pay. What going on here? But then we weren't going to work, right? So then what really could happen? They could do whatever they wanted. I did not like that did not have no control over my income when there was a pandemic going on. And guess what, guys? I had just moved into this flat. How about shit show? So if moving in and you can't even get a sofa, not even because of money, because no one's delivering, and then you're having like 80% to 50% pay. There was nothing I could do. So I was like, I'm definitely not putting myself back in that situation again. I don't want that again. But then at the same time, I didn't realize, well, you listen, how many people jumped on social media when during lockdown to keep themselves busy or to keep
Mm,
themselves inspired?
mm.
Did not realize that I had something in me that was going to inspire people. But the main thing was, did not like the fact that I only had one income and I had no control over it when literally the shit hit the fan in the world. That was my why, and that was just wanting to potentially match the income I was making at work so that I had a safety net. Oh, people can't keep up with what I'm doing, and that's just literally what's been happening through what I've been able to create through my journey. And
I
that
love
in
it.
and that in time the vision has gotten bigger and bigger.
Mm.
One thing that I wanted to share though, because this is something when I first started working on my vision and my why, right, with Sabrina, one thing that has stuck to me, what's that now, like 4 years ago? One thing that stuck to me was your vision, your why, your vision has to make you feel sick. As in, like, it has to be so stupidly, ridiculously insane, like you think you ain't gonna get it, like get there. That's how big you have to cast your vision. Why did you tell me that, Sabrina?
Because why not? Like, I'm not being funny, but we only get one life. Is that true or is that true? Like, we only get
True.
one life. And this isn't a dress rehearsal. We don't get a practice run. We don't get to sit around and say, oh, next time I'll do this and this and this a little bit different. And
Mm.
honestly, I'm going to like my passion is about to show a lot because
Unleash
this
the
this
dragon.
this stuff gets me really fired up. But I think a lot of people go through life with that kind of perspective and that kind of like lack of urgency because for some reason they think, oh, next time I'll do X, Y, and Z. Next time when? That we don't get another life. We don't get another one. So if you're not living to create a life that you literally like is your, think about whatever kind of lifestyle you want to lead. And it doesn't have to be riches and extravagances. Like think about what your dream situation scenario would be. It could be being able to take your kids to Legoland in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon rather than waiting
Hmm.
on the weekend when it's so crowded and everyone's so miserable and pissed off that nobody wants to be there anyway. Like that could be your idea of like, yes. So it doesn't have to be being on yachts on the Amalfi Coast. Like, let's just talk about whatever it is that would make your life feel great. If you're not in pursuit of that, what are you doing? Like, why are we sitting
Right?
around just being okay with being complacent? And when somebody asks you, oh, how are you today? Fine. Like, or somebody asks you, how are you doing? You know, and you're giving the same answer you've been giving for the last 10 years. What is that?
What is that? And you made me just think of my running club. So with the running club, we start at Battersea Power Station, then we go for a run around Battersea Park, and then we finish at a coffee shop at the end of Battersea Power Station. As we're walking past from the coffee shop to Battersea Power Station again, we are passing a gym called Third Space. Are you familiar with Third Space?
Mm-mm, no.
Third Space is a gym that I think it's about around £300 a month, Sabrina, right? It is expensive, but you're going in there, you might as well live there because it's going to be 25 million% 20 better than your house, right? It's got clothing wear, it's got like a shop, it's got all these meal prep. Honestly, It's insane. And when we walk past the run club, they're like, "Oh man, it's so expensive. Wish I can go there." Da, da, da. And literally, I go to them. Go there soon. They was like, "When?" And I'm like, "When I don't have to work for anyone anymore. When I can go there and spend 4 hours because that £300 is going to be worth it a month, right? Because I can have not just a quick gym session, but I got the gym. Then I might have the yoga. Then I might have to swim. Then I might have the steam sauna, something to eat. My day might start at 6, and then I'm coming out of there at 10. That is what I would like my morning to look like. 4 hours pouring into me in a place that isn't too expensive because I'm worth it. And that is something I tell them every time we walk past there because I will get there. And they might think, oh my God, but Caroline, it's so expensive. And expensive for who? Ain't for Caroline. You'll see me work and graft there. Sorry, that was just something I have been sharing with my runners.
And that's so, like, that's so good, because it's would you not agree that because you have that vision of that small thing, let's, small thing, a gym membership, right? You have a
Mm,
vision of that, it influences the decisions you make on a daily
yep,
basis of how you spend your time. It
yep,
influences your habits.
yep.
It influences how, like, resilient you become in
It
doing the
does.
things regardless of how you feel in the moment. So when you
Uh-huh.
have a vision, this is the power of knowing your why and knowing your where, right? Why you're doing what you're doing and where it is that you want to go. This is the power of it, because it influences what you actually show up and do on a daily basis. And I bet for you guys that are listening, that you are constantly, maybe your mentor is Caroline, maybe your mentor is me, maybe your mentor is somebody else, and every time they ask you, how are things going, where are you on your track to meeting your goals for this month or this week, and you're like, oh, I didn't show up and work that day because X, Y, and Z. Oh, I didn't do this because ABC. Oh, I didn't do that
Mm.
because my dog was sick. Or, oh, I didn't do that because it was a day ending in Y. Like, whenever you have whatever excuse, it's because you're not focused on something big enough to make you show up, even if you don't feel like it.
And
And
I'm
just
just going to keep
let that sit. Let that sit. Isn't it true? It's that personal responsibility, right? Because if your vision isn't big enough, yeah, every emotion under the sun, every situation that comes up is going to be bigger than, or more important than, what it is that you need to do to create that life that you want.
it's like I'm thinking of, so it's like the vision, why, belief, and self-development. Those were the four things that I was talking about this morning with my mentee, because it's that if you can't cast a big enough vision for yourself, that means you don't have enough belief in yourself that you can achieve it. Why do you think you can't achieve it? You've got to work on that self-development. And if you have something in your mind that's telling you can't do it, because you can do it. People probably laughed at me a year and a half ago that I started saying in work, Sabrina, is that I'm going to be a store manager that gets paid for 2 days of work and has 5 days off. Even I laughed at myself when I said that a year and a half ago. Now, I'm going to make that happen, however it's going to be, right? And that is the kind of lifestyle I want. I want to be that much in demand that I would only work 2 days a week and have 5 days off. You're thinking, Caroline's crazy. I'm gonna make that happen because that is what I want. Even if and it's that one of my business partners I was talking to the other day. I was like, "How would you like your working day to look if you did not have to work?" He would like to get up at 5 a.m., go work out, have his breakfast, get back in for 9 a.m., like do all his morning stuff, and then literally he'll start his trading from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Why can't that be your working day? But guess what? He's got to put the graft in now, and I hope you're watching this pod because even that, the graft isn't getting put in. I said you've got to start putting into practice what it is how you want your life to be so you can start getting there, because that's the type of, it's not like, people say you got to fake it till you make it. We're not saying you got to fake it till you make it. You got to become the person who deserves that type of level of success, right? So and then there's nothing stopping him from starting that now, because then you're also creating other disciplined areas within your lifestyle once you start to nail getting up at 5 a.m. and getting to the gym at 7 a.m. Work on one thing at a time as well. Don't do it all in one go if you're finding it hard. Self-development, I used to find hard. And Sabrina could tell that I didn't do the self-development because of the excuses I was given. So what I had, and you know what, team? I preferred working out than doing self-development. I was getting up and doing my crazy workout program and not doing the reading. But what I had to do then was to get up and read the book first and then do the workout.
Mm. And
Sorry, that
these are
felt like a
like,
little bit of
no,
ramble.
no, this is good. This is good because you gave some really simple ways to start casting a vision, right? Simple
Hmm.
ways to start really thinking about what it is that you want most. Like ask yourself the question. Caroline asked the question of that person. And just by simply being given the space to think a little bit bigger, he was able to identify what it is that he wants. So start. That's a simple way to start casting a bold vision for your life is ask yourself the question, what do I want my life to look like? What do
Yeah.
I want my days to look like? And then Caroline said, perfect. If you want your day to begin at 5 a.m., go and work out, do your things like first 3 hours, 4 hours of your day to be all about you before you then go to work or everybody else gets you. What is stopping you from creating that now?
Sabrina, do you mind sharing your how your day to day how you would want your day to day look? Because when you shared with me or how you wanted your day to day look, you really inspired me back then. So, and I
Mm.
think you'll inspire others. I remember you having the office space and the desk, and it. Oh, just yeah, please, please, please.
Yeah. So so good. And it's crazy to watch, like even thinking about what I wanted it to look like and how the evolution has happened. It's
Pretty
it's
much.
crazy. It's
Listen,
crazy.
team,
It's
I've seen
crazy.
it.
So back then, so I started my entrepreneurial journey, gosh, over a decade ago when I started my personal training business. And back then I was waking up at 4 something in the morning well, 3 something in the morning because I taught a 5 a.m. fitness class 5 days a week. 5
Yeah.
a.m. being up and about, jumping up and down, be the inspiration, the energy bringer person. I hate the morning, people. Hate the morning. So this was my life for 3 years, getting up at 3 something in the morning to go and teach a class at 5 a.m. and had to do that. That was my life, teach the class. And then I co-owned a fitness studio at that time. So after the class was taught, I was in the studio doing all the management pieces. And then I taught some other morning classes later in the day. And then I had some personal training clients that I would leave and go and take care of and then come back to the studio. Like literally my day was 3:45 until 10 p.m. for 3 years. That was that
Oh
was
my
my life,
gosh.
right? And I remember there was a defining moment where I woke up at that 3:45 time. My alarm went off. I was sitting on the edge of my bath with my eyes closed, brushing my teeth, like literally sitting there, eyes closed, brushing my teeth, just thinking, what? Like, what is this? What is
Yeah.
this? And from the outside, everything looked great. Like I co-owned a studio. I was teaching fitness, the thing that I loved. Everything looked great, but I knew that that's not what I wanted my day to day to look like. I didn't want that. I didn't want it. So fast forward a number of years, getting into the network marketing space and really expanding my view of what entrepreneurship could be, I started to experience something different and carve out something different for myself. I wanted to have an office space in my home that I could go to that was like separate from the rest of the house, because I would just sit on like the sofa and do my work stuff, but I wanted a
Hmm.
dedicated space. I wanted a space where I could do some stretching and reading and my vision work and breath work and all of that in the morning to start my day. I wanted like peace to
Mm.
begin my day at a time that felt reasonable for me. And now,
Sorry.
at a time that felt reasonable for me. And now I get up at 7 o'clock, which still feels early to me, but it's damn sight better than 3:45 a.m. I get up at 7 a.m. I make myself a cup of hot water with lemon because I'm trying to reduce my caffeine intake a little bit. I come into my office space. I roll out my mat. I do a 20-minute stretching routine while I'm listening to some personal development. And then I do some manifestation work, like visualization. I do my gratitude practice, do some breath work. I sit, read my vision because I write out my vision. I read that every day, and then plan my day. And then I read
I'm
some of
stealing something
my,
of your morning routine.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
do
stealing
it.
something.
And then I read my personal development if I'm reading a book. And then I go and either walk around our neighborhood or get on the treadmill if the weather's too sunny or it's raining or whatever. and I listen to more personal development, answering messages on my through my inbox and all that kind of stuff. So I go for an hour walk to get in my 10,000 steps while I'm working or listening to PD, come in, and then I go work out. And then that's it. My day starts at 7 a.m. and I don't actually sit down for my first block of work until after I've eaten breakfast at 12.
Yeah, that's so good though, but that's what you've created, you
And that's what
know?
I wanted. That's what I craved for so long. And to think that just by doing small pieces of that throughout the day, whenever I could, I've been able to create my perfect morning like routine, right? And that doesn't have to be what anybody else does. I shared that with you purely to show you how things evolve and things change, and that it is possible for you to create whatever it is that you want, whatever peace looks like for you, whatever that start of your day needs to look like for you. It's possible to create that. You just have to be willing to do the unsexy thing. We talked about this last time, right? The
Yeah.
unsexy things, the things that are hard, the things that are inconvenient, the things you don't want to do. You have to be willing to do them in order for your life to turn out the way that you actually want it to be.
So my thing is now I know there's going to be a lot of full-time workers watching this who are in network marketing, and I had to work on waking up early and getting things done. And I had the time to do that throughout lockdown. Now I've got a few people who are on the struggle bus in the morning, and they will rather lay down in their bed when they should get up for between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., do the work task, and then go to work. What would you say to that person listening, Sabrina?
What that tells me is that they're not connected to a vision that's bigger than what their current reality is. That's what that tells me, right? And I think that not enough people are.
Yes,
I know that
one thousand percent.
I've had so many conversations with people that I've mentored where, you know, you've heard how excited I get about vision, and I ask them that question of what do you want your life ultimately to be like, and they can't describe it. They just don't have the words. They don't have the image of what it could be because they cannot see beyond their current circumstance. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are not okay with what your current circumstance is, not that there necessarily needs to be anything wrong. You don't have to have like a big painful story. But if there's some element of your current life that you're not satisfied with, then you
Work.
have to, whatever that looks
All of
like.
them is work.
Yeah,
They're all ones that are working. Do you know what I mean? It is work, and it's the
yeah.
fact that I just don't understand why they still then go in this repeat pattern every week, you know. And I don't get it because
It's
you're
because they're
still
not
giving.
connected to their vision, Caroline. That's why, right? Like if your excuse for not doing what it is you want to do to get out of the work situation that you're in, if your excuse is that work is too busy for you to do what you need to do to stop working, like it doesn't make sense. It's like people say, I'm too, use health, right? I'm too
Yeah,
unhealthy to do what is necessary to get healthy. Like, is if you listen, if
I
you
needed to be
are
silent for a minute, yeah, because I think that had to decide had that extra effect for a couple of listeners.
right, like I had somebody say, I was like, we were talking about them doing a course about time management, and she was like,
Yeah,
I'm too busy to do that.
it's like you literally
You're
just.
too busy to sit down and take a course to help you not be so busy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm
do you
busyness.
know what I mean? Right. But here's the thing, and we're not trying to belittle anybody, guys. We just
No,
need you
please,
to
we're not.
understand. We need you to understand that if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. So if you're not willing to do what is necessary to get out of the situation that you're in, that situation that you're in, you're going to be one of those people that bitches and complains about their life for the rest of your life. And if that's not okay with you, you have to be willing to do what you don't want to do right now. Like Caroline and I, we don't wake up every morning with skittles jumping over our heads and unicorns leaping across rainbows above our homes every day. We don't. We don't. Some days we don't want to do the things. We don't.
And you
But
know
we
what?
show up and we do it anyway because our vision is strong enough.
This as Tara went to go to the bedroom because I'm in the front room recording podcasts. She literally said, "Have a good shift." I said, and in my head I was like, "Oh, she said have a good shift." I went to ask her why she said that. I said, "You said have a good shift. Why did you say have a good shift?" She goes, "Because this is work. This is work for me and Sabrina. If we weren't doing, this is part of our vision. You know, this is part of it as well. You're seeing it. Oh, sorry, but yeah, that really like threw me off as well because I was like, oh my gosh, she's getting it.
Yeah.
Just get it.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
It's
treat your business like work.
mm-hmm.
I feel like I've said that so many times, Sabrina.
And I think the disconnect for some people, and maybe this will help someone reconnect to their vision when they're feeling lost or they're feeling stuck, they're feeling like they just can't find it within themselves to show up and do the things, is give yourself permission to dream really, really big.
Yes.
No yeah buts, no, oh, if only whatever. There's no, like, I want you to sit down in a room and with no parameters, just allow yourself to dream. Dream
So let's give
about
them like, yeah, literally, let's tell them now.
yeah.
What would the house be? You know,
Yeah.
the
What would
car.
your house look like? What would your car look like? What would your day to day look like? You got a good description of what I've worked for, right?
Yep.
So, what would your version of that be? Who would you be spending time with? What would you be doing in that time you're spending with them? What
You know.
kind of are you volunteering? Are you working full time? Are you, I don't know, what are you doing? Are you on
Hmm.
vacation? Are you planning a
That
vacation?
was
Who are
it.
you
You know, one
with?
of my
Like,
one a holiday once a month. You know, my morning would include having some mentoring sessions or one-to-one calls. Like it's that really what like while you're listening, write it down right now. How you would like your day to be, how you would like it, what car, like even like the most expensive car ever. I want one of those big Range Rover. I don't know, one of them big Jeep things. You know, I don't want the big house, but I want the penthouse on the top floor because I know the big house I don't want to be cleaning all the time by myself. But it's like go so big that you're going to be like, this makes me feel sick. Can I do this? And then that, when you keep looking at that paper, you know, have Sabrina said it to me, have it somewhere where it's going to walk in and slap you in the face. I literally said to my mentee this morning, you put it there and you stick it on your forehead and you walk around with it because it needs to be in your face all the time, you know, so that when you are having those down days, you're literally going to be like, oh, what's that? Okay, so if I want that, I can't be like this.
You got to have it. It's got to be front and center because you know, I think one of the biggest problems we have as human beings is that we assume we're not supposed to have problems, right? We think we think that because we commit to starting this business or because we commit to this fitness program or we commit to this qualification we're going to go and get, that is the only thing that's going to come up, that's the only thing that we're going to have to deal with. No, life continues to happen. You're going to
Yep.
continue to have problems, things, people are going to piss you off, you're going to have this issue, that issue, this obstacle, that obstacle. You're still going to have your full gambit of emotions. Ladies, every month your period is still going to arrive, right? Like and we pretend, we kind of get shocked that we're having these issues. We're like, I'm like, my period started when I was 11. I'm 42 years old, nearly 43. Like, how am I shocked every month when I have a week where I don't want to do anything? Right. But if that's going to be the limit every month, then how much progress am I really going to make? No, I have to decide that regardless of cramps or a bad night's sleep or whatever, I'm still showing up and doing the things. Regardless if my boss chewed me out and now I feel guilty or bad or in a crappy mood, regardless if my other half is not cleaned wherever and now I'm pissed off. Like, regardless, was it time already? Regardless, we do the things because we're so connected to what it's all for. So if
Hmm.
you're struggling, if you're stuck, you're feeling lost, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling as if, is it worth it? You have, like, Caroline and I beg you to do this exercise of allowing yourself to dream really big, have a bold vision for your life, because that is worth it. That's worth
Yes.
it.
That's what it takes. Just be just for, yeah, we start off with it being just a little bit of the extra income, but what it can go to is priceless. No cap.
What is your, to last question, Caroline, before we leave, but how was your vision involved, knowing that it started off as being that wanting to have a little bit more control over your income, what has it evolved into now?
Now, so it's just gone from me having just, the even that, just having the one extra income alongside working full time, it's gone to six additional income streams. It's gone to me leading my leading my own running club. It's gone to my networking events, starting for people to now going from me having to always message people and promote it and share it to now just posting it up and look and publishing it. And then I'm getting people coming to me, sign ups, and then messaging me, asking when's the next one. I can't look when people ask me when's the next one, I'm like, this was all you wanted. Run club. I've gone from me walking to the station and standing there and being by myself, to now have it like go in there and then there's like four to six people waiting for me already. Are you joking me? Something I recently shared just this week. Writing article. Excuse me. That was never on the radar, guys. So it's like so much of your vision can evolve when you start grafting and working on what it is you want to do. Alignment is so key as well, making sure that you're staying true to who you are. Because I think that's a big disconnect as well, Sabrina, when it comes to belief. I think there's people that like the life that certain people have, but they're not fully connected with that person or that company. It was just the money attached to it. Does that make sense? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing a lot of that. That could be a whole nother podcast episode in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
um because even something I'm seeing is I'm inspiring people, but then they're attached with other people. So it's like until they understand that where the just you know what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to talk into a riddle and into a riddle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that went all around the houses, but it's evolved so much just from one thing to about five different things that I've created. And I'm doing it all around work. People think I'm overwork. I'm like, people assume I'm overworking myself and I'm busy, but no, the run club aligns with me because I run on a Saturday at 7 a.m. The writing aligns with me. And even that was something I wasn't actually gonna take on board. But then I thought, hold on a minute, Caroline, you write captions. You write all over your stories. That is you storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
That is part of what. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I went all around the house, Sabrina. I know we've gone over time, team.
No, I just think that was just a perfect example of the fact that you don't have to be married to the first vision that you have, right? Because it is going to
Two.
evolve. It is going to
Yeah.
evolve, and things are going to open up for you that are not you can't even fathom right now. You can't even see it right now. But the woman that you're going to become, the man that you're going to become, the human that you're going to become as you're on this journey of growth and advancement and progress, that person is going to be able to see new possibility and new doors are going to open. And it's just so special when that
Yeah.
stuff starts to happen. But in order for that to happen, you got to show up today. You got to show up today for the future that you can see now. And everything else starts to fall into place.
And I think the last thing I would want to say is it's never going to be perfect. Embrace the messiness
Mm,
because it's going to get a whole lot messier.
mm. It is. And that's part of the evolution process, right? Because we don't grow when things are easy. We don't grow when things are just dropping into place. We grow through the mess, through the challenge, through the obstacle. And so changing our relationship with those things is part of this journey too. And we've got so much more to say about that all by itself that I think we'll just leave it there and, and we'll revisit it because oh man, this is the real truth of this stuff, isn't it? The
Yeah.
nitty gritty. And we just want to help you continue to show up when it gets hard.
Yes. That all it is. And it's like not coming from a place of there's no tough love. It's
Mm,
just love.
it's just love. It's just love.
Love.
It's just love. Alrighty, that's it. Episode 3. Boom, done. Um, we hope you got something out of this. We would love it if you would share this episode and some of your takeaways.
Please.
Tag us on social media if you choose to do that. We would love it if you would leave us a review. That would be incredible. Just feel free to do that on Spotify. Until next time, thank you for listening,
Team.
and we're here for your growth.
We
See you
appreciate
later.
you. Bye
Bye.
bye.